So today, let's see if that's a phone call I need to get. Today I'm going to do a recording of a practice session. I'll probably put this on my YouTube channel for practice sessions, clarinet practice. I've got two goals today. I'm going to go through some Magnani exercises. They are from page 3 or 4, I believe. Basically, interval, triadic type studies. And then I'm going to do Take the A Train. I'm going to try to see what my tempo is, if it's any better now. I've learned a few things since my last lesson. This is really a practice session. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. As I run into issues or, good things, I'm just going to kind of talk through them. And sort of the hope is here that, for those of you who are learning something new, how do you practice? How do other people practice? And of course you can give me feedback on how I do and how that might benefit me as well and everybody else. So anyway, this will be a long video. That's what it is. So Magnani Exercises, old book, standard sort of clarinet method book. So looks like that's it.
Got the frog!
And we got a frog.
Oh, you're doing...
Yeah, I want a video. That's okay. We got a frog. That's cool. We've been wanting to get a frog for our fish tank, so.
How many? Did you say 1 or 2?
Nice. Okay, so here's Magnani, and I'm gonna use a metronome this time, which I should be using more often. We'll see how this works. So I think my tone has gotten better now that I understand angle. And there's something about a smile. Embouchure shouldn't come in too much, what the instructor told me. Whoa. 2, 3. Okay. So it sounds good. My tempo is fast because I don't want this exercise to take long. As I get better, I can handle the long tones a little better. I like that. 1. So that's a little fumbly. Let's do this. I'm going to cut the metronome for a sec. I don't want to feel rushed. I've got some finger stuff to do here. Yeah. Well, I'm working out new things that are mechanically challenging or that I'm not up to speed on. I will turn the metronome off and work kind of in free time for a sec. That's better. And when you're learning, my instructor told me you can tongue. Legato is really good for really ironing out whether you got your fingering spot on in time. But when you're really a beginner, maybe a little bit of tonguing is a good thing and give you a chance to catch up. Well, more to do. Notice I'm moving my fingers too quickly on the low, off of the low note. fast pitch too. I'm going to turn the tempo down to 100 and see if that works better for me on this exercise. This portion. 1, 2. Okay. I might go with that speed actually. Next one, E. That's okay. Yeah. Have to expel some air. 1, 2. I went sharp at the end of that last note. Try maybe just a long tone. How about a soft one? Sounds fuzzy. Sometimes spit can get in, collecting up in here, and you have to kind of suck it back out. It's kind of gross. Good idea. Keep this thing clean. Because you have to do that. Alright, starting on A. 2. Okay, well. I wish the angle of this recording was a little better. That's that. Alright, starting on B. You gotta jump across. Oops. Gotta have the register key. 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2. Since I'm having trouble starting that note, I'm going to kind of hang out here and just tongue that note for a bit. That's a tough note. I'm not going to iron it out today. So, but at least I can get a decent enough attack on it. 2. Well, 1, 2. Trying to do that. I don't know if that's anything. Okay, again, back to it. 1, 2. Switching from the lower register to the higher register is definitely a thing with the clarinet, and it takes a while to iron out. I may just go with that for now. Okay. Good start. 1, 2. A lot of times squeaks are because you didn't close the hole. In that case, I didn't close this thumb hole properly on the C, high C, or the middle, whatever that is. The in staff C, not the high C. 2, 3. I want to go for the B each time. Okay. 1, 2. Trying to work with a relaxed embouchure, relaxed throat, pushing from the diaphragm, which I'm not sure is a real thing, by the way. The diaphragm is an involuntary muscle that pushes the internal organs downwards so that the lungs can fill up. The intercostal muscles are the ones that actually push the air out. So, but everybody says diaphragm, so I'm not sure where that came from. 1. Okay, not bad. I'll take it. We're starting on D now. D, A. I've got an iPad mini, so the music is kind of small. 1, 2. Okay. So, not getting the accurate fingers down on the holes, for one thing, and embouchure was a little in the wrong, a little bit not set properly, I think. 1, 2. Maybe I got too much mouthpiece in. We'll try again. 1, 2. Okay. Trouble from the A to the D. 2. So that's something that I kind of worked through there. And what I like to do when I'm making, guitar is this way, especially with chords. You're trying to make a transition from one chord to another. Sorry, turn this thing off for a sec. And your fingers have to do a certain thing, and so what I like to do, tell students or whatever, since I do teach guitar, is to play the chord and give yourself a couple of beats to find the next chord. And as you get better, you give yourself less time. You start working it out until the point where you can do it almost, seamlessly. So that's what I was doing here, going from the D to the A. Flat. Let's try it in time again. 2, 3, 1, 2. I don't know if I have too much mouthpiece or what's going on. Probably not closing the holes. So, I'm sure you're glad to hear all of that. But really, I mean, this is kind of a look into the practice room, at least how I do things. I try to do, I take on a piece, like in this case, a piece being maybe 2 measures, a piece of something, and play it and see how I do, and look for, sort of internally critique it, and, what could have been done better. And, you shoot for something better than that. And sometimes, and like in this case, I was working on D to A, and I never really did perfect it. I'm not going to sit out there for the entire practice time, but I will kind of note it, and we'll work across practice sessions. But yet, at the same time, I slow down, and I get it better. I polish and polish and polish. So, yeah. No. So we're gonna move on now. I feel like I jumped. So anyway, I hope that was a complete thought. I'm gonna move on to play this passage completely. My wife is coming in. This is life, man. If you've gotten to this point in my video, then send me an email. I'll give you a $5 gift certificate to Amazon. First person only. I'm only gonna do this one time, okay? This is like 20 minutes into this video. If you've gotten to this part, I think I might need your email address to do that. I'll put a way to contact me in the notes, but I won't give away this little tidbit. And the first person that does, I'll send you a gift certificate. How's that? Okay, so yeah, so let's see if we can get further into this Magnani, because I got one other thing I want to do today. I think we're gonna move away from that D. I've been doing enough of that. D is here. Oops. So E is nice. 2. So I feel like all that work on that D to A actually made this one that starts on E better, because I still had to cross, between registers, cross the bridge, as my instructor calls it, and that was actually for me pretty good. I know, for a seasoned clarinet player, they would say, "Oh, that's pretty harsh," and all this kind of stuff. The tone is not quite there yet. I get it, but for me, that was pretty good. And that's what you're looking for when you're practicing. You're looking for improvement and proper technique. If you're doing weird stuff to get the sounds out, then you're going to be practicing. Really, you're practicing failure. Somebody once told me one time that I'm going to turn this off so this isn't bugging us. There was a tennis instructor one time had a student. The student was playing a game, in competition, and started to quote unquote hit not to miss. So in other words, they're hitting in such a way that they don't miss, but they're not hitting confidently, and they're not hitting with the right technique, and so they're hitting not to miss, but they're going to lose the game that way. So hitting not to miss, still getting it over the net, and all this kind of stuff. When the student switched to hitting, to swinging to hit, or however it was put, I'm kind of forgetting right now in the moment. Swinging to hit, they hit the net, but the coach very wisely said, "Good, your technique's right. Your aim was off, but your technique's right. The important thing's your technique, right? And especially with instruments like this, we can try to get results, perfect results, and do contortions to get them. We don't want that. We want to play it the right way, and let the squeaks happen, let the mistakes happen, because if you do your work, you'll get there, All right, so let's see if we can get on through this Magnani. F. No? Yeah, okay. There it is. Sounds a little flat to me. Maybe a lot flat. Okay, I like that enough. 2. Holding that last note on a little too long, I think. Starting on A. If I was on the trumpet right now, I wouldn't be able to. Wasn't able to hit an A for years. So this is amazing to me. 2. Okay. No, isn't right. Ah, that was F sharp. No, so I'm looking for F. Let's see if we can get that note a little bit dialed in. 2. Those are harsh, but we're going from C, high C. Okay. Actually, don't remember how you play. There it is. Your mouthpiece has. I find that my mouth has to be in the right place. If that one won't come out. Nice. Noise. I don't know if that's a noise or not, but it is a C. Okay. Well, there it is. That's Magnani. That's page 3, I think. Page 3. Exercise. It's in French, so I can't. I'm not sure. It's an interval exercise. I can see. Preparator pour execute les intervalles. So, it must be preparation to practicing intervals or preparation for intervals or something like that. Okay, so that's enough of that. Next thing I'm going to do is take the A train. I'm not sure what my tempo is. I know that. Turn this thing off. I know that 52 beats per minute, which is very slow. And by the way, I hope I make sure to put a link to this. I wrote a solo, and if you followed me, I've said this a million times and you're probably tired of it, but I wrote a solo over Take the A Train. I moved the key down a bit so that it positions it in the key of C for the clarinet. It's in concert B flat. So it was easier, to learn on. And I think I'm gonna write a more difficult one and probably one in the right key at some point. I have a video of me playing it on trumpet for clarinet students to, for anybody really to practice with. It's an easy solo, and you can kind of look at, starting the measure, an improvised solo on the third of the. I do a lot of that where I start the melody on the third, like in the D minor 7, I start on F and I go down to the B of the G7 and the A of the C6, which would be the 6th of C, so forth. So a little bit of enclosures in there too, if that's a familiar thing to you. If not, you might want to look that up. But enclosures are a very important part of the jazz language to learn. So I'm going to see if I can get to 60, and I believe if my Bluetooth speaker is not totally dead yet, it's blinking good. And this may take me a sec to get this guy hooked up. Bluetooth, JBL Flip. Okay, I'm going to go to my iReal Pro. iReal Pro. So, take the A train, it's in the proper key, and I've got it at, let's put it to 60 beats a minute. I haven't played it today yet, so we're going to see what this sounds like. Okay, so some squeaks there, some missed notes. I was trying to learn, there's a part in here that I learned an alternate fingering for E flat. So there's a piece, see if I got this. So instead of playing you can play right. So there's sometimes it's more efficient to do that, and sometimes it's better to do like going from the C. See, that'd be tough moving this from there. So, but when you can, you try to keep it all in one hand apparently. What did I mess up and what could be improved? Well, I had some squeaks and some missed fingerings. I think maybe the last line I would look at, because it's got the most challenging. It's got a triplet in it, an arpeggiated figure. It goes from the third of the G7. I'm gonna figure out that squeak. I think maybe part of it could be that I'm not closing the holes. You got to be super conscious of that. I'm trying to figure out how much mouthpiece to put in my mouth. That's a constant thing to figure out, this thing at the first, because there's a squeak point. The more you put in, the closer you get to that squeak point. And then at some point you just couldn't play anything but a squeak. If you pull it out too far, then you limit the amount of resonance, the amount of sound, the amount that the reed can actually vibrate is getting constricted because you've got so much of it in your, sticking on your lower lip. So that's a challenge. You got to learn this for yourself, and that's, there's only one way to do it, and that's to spend the time with it. Anyway, I digress. Again, I swear, if anybody even watches this video, I'm going to be shocked. So, yeah. That's so weird when it plays fine and then it squeaks. I don't know if I'm overblowing or just have a position problem or what. Yeah. Yeah. That right there, I mean, that little line right there, I could spend, the rest of my practice time on, honestly. Just trying to perfect that one thing. One thing that I find is that when you find the hardest lick, portion in the tune, and you sit and you work and you perfect that, it does actually have a ripple effect. It makes the rest of the tune better too. Especially the easy stuff, because you've kind of dialed yourself in a little bit, I guess. You slowed down. You gotta slow down to speed up. I hear that a lot at work, actually. Slow down to speed up. That means take your time, think about it, and then it's like the record button. The record button in the mind doesn't really turn on until you slow down. Otherwise, you're just getting frantic and trying to hack at stuff, and it sets you up for all kinds of failure, really. Honestly. Okay, I digress. Not bad. I would say, it was maybe one of the best attempts I've had at it this session. So, yay. Yay. Thank you for sticking into this point. I don't know if there's going to be any other free stuff offered, but I am. I am very, very appreciative if you make it this far. Wow. I did it again. See, I'm starting to practice it now. I should stop that. There's a magic point of how much mouthpiece to put in your mouth. That is, I know that much. Maybe that's a good thing to do. Bum, bum, bum. Bo. Yeah. Learn that piece. Man, sometimes really you pick 4 or 5 notes and perfect that. Polish that. Forget about the rest of it. And play it slow. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes it's time to just take a break. Let's breathe. Which brings me to something. Randomly, you're playing a wind instrument, and you breathe more often when you talk than you do when you play a wind instrument, I believe. At least I find that to be true. I can hold a note on a trumpet for 30 to 45 seconds. I don't know what I can do on this thing. Yeah, I haven't tried. But, that's a lot of stale air that can bunch up on you, and you need to take a breath. And then what happens when the oxygen goes low in your brain? Your ability to make good decisions and execute difficult passages or even simple passages starts to fail on you, right? So air is a big thing, not just for the instrument, but for your body, for your brain. So you do have to work that stuff out too. So I clearly have some kind of little thing going on there, and I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's spit. I don't know. Yes, the mysteries of the thing that I don't understand yet. And that's how it is. Until you take your next lesson and ask your questions. Write your questions down when you're taking your lessons so they can answer them, so you can find out and learn more. not getting my fingers in the holes. I'm playing that faster even though I'm stumbling because I'm trying to work out what the squeak on the D is. I believe that's about getting the finger on the hole. I tell you what, I may not get that one this time. It may just be something that I have to mark. So it didn't squeak so bad that time, but I did notice that there was a disturbance in the force, in the reed. I mean, the force, right? I could tell that it wasn't vibrating the way I wanted it to. So okay, when I slow it down, it's okay. So that's probably indicative of what I need to do in this passage, just to really slow it down. Yeah. So, again, you have to go slow to go fast. Maybe it just ain't gonna happen today. All right, I'm gonna go through it one more time. That's 60, and then I'm gonna call it a day. 3. disappointed on that last lick. I've spent a lot of time on it. Now, one thing to be said though is that it is at the end of the piece. So, and I was getting a bit tired. Notice something going on here. I don't think I had my lip curled just right. So it's starting to hurt. Or maybe it's just time. So, anyway, that's my practice session for today. What is today? June 13th. And I hope this helps. If this helps one person, it's worth it to me. So, shout out, let me know if these are helping. And what works and what doesn't. Toodles.